Welcome to today's video where I'll be talking about my bullet journal and prepping for February. And I know it is February 1st today, so I'm a little bit late on prepping, but we'll go ahead and get started. And so here is my February cover page. I'm not quite done yet. Obviously, I still have to color in the fairies. They're two dancing fairies that are on top of a mushroom. It says Ellis for the way you look at me, from that song, of course. And what I'll be doing today is filling in the dates. I already have them numbered, but I'm going to be putting in the days of the week in there, as well as my goals for the month. My habit tracker, we have the days, and then I'll be putting my habits right here. Happenings is going to be an open space. I also have a sleep log, and I'll show you what these all look like for January, so you'll be able to see what that looks like in action. A seizure pass out log for my POTS and EDS and stuff. Weekly goals, an area for that, so I can break it down week by week, and then just to show you what it looks like for January, so you get an idea. This is my cover for January. And then just a quick, don't want to give away too many of my personal life stuff, but just stuff that you fill in day by day. And then I put my goals down like at the bottom of there. I'll have a whole page dedicated to my goals because I have a lot for February. And then my habits is right there so you can see. And then happenings is just like here's my January happenings so you can see is like what am I reading, what am I watching. By the way, Skeleton Crew was really, really good. Who I'm hanging out with, what I'm playing. I love playing Skyrim, so that's really what I've been playing lately. What YouTubers I watch, things like that. So that's what I've got for my happenings. And then my sleep log, just with the hours. I'm trying it differently for February though, because as you could tell, I had it on one page. So I'm going to try and have, instead of having it all be on 2 pages like that, I'm going to see if I can condense it down to 1 page. And then my weekly goals, I kind of fell off on that, but I did 3 of the 4 weeks. So there's that. And then my seizure pass out log from, I don't know if you can see that. That just tells you stood up too quick, what time. This one I actually couldn't speak after. So Brandon had to do it for me because I wasn't there enough for it. And then also I have a below deck because we watch below deck sailing. We're actually watching it right now. But a bingo. So as you can see, we already have a bingo. So that's fun. And for that bingo, if you watch Below Deck Sailing, you'll understand. But for that bingo, I have Boat Trouble, Daisy Gets Angry, Free Space, which is Captain Glenn is best captain ever. That's what it says along there. Entitled Rich Snobs as guests, and then Girls Guys Party. So we've already got all of those. So if you follow Below Deck. So and then February, we can get started. So I'm not going to be finishing my cover on this video just because I'll be finishing that later when I'm able to spend more time on it. But what I will be doing is putting in the days of the week. So we'll be doing that first. And I'll be using my pink highlighter. That is a mild liner? Yeah. I used to call them mid liner, but then I noticed there's an L there. And that's where I keep all of my pens, is this little makeup bag. But it always works, and I always keep a lighter and a hair tie in it as well, because you just never know. And let's see, what color do I want? We'll do this pink. So I'm using this pink pen. What's today? Today is Saturday. Sorry I'm doing this a little bit late. I've just been kind of having a bit of a tough time, but that's okay. You can make your bullet journal however you want. You don't have to go at all how I'm doing it. You can make all of your days be on one page. You can make each day a page, completely however you want to do it. So do not feel like you have to do it any which way. Just do it whatever way makes you happy. And here we have our first week of February. So it has the days, the number, and then the day of the week. I'm just going to go ahead and finish out the... And I always like to start my weeks on Monday. I know a lot of people start their weeks on Sundays because, I mean, that's what calendars start theirs on. But for me, I feel like Sunday is still part of the weekend. And it just makes it feel like Sunday is, I don't know, almost more special at the end of the week than at the beginning because it's not like the start of the week and it takes, for me, it takes pressure off of Sunday, I feel. So it kind of makes it be a little more relaxing, so it's not so crazy. And then Monday can be the start, and then Mondays are typically mundane anyway, so. And I'll also be putting the weather in this week as well. Let's see, here's another week. I'll do the next one. And you don't even have to prep it all in one day either. Like I did my lines for my habit tracker and did the lines for the days like a week ago. So you really can just do it whenever you have time. And then there are some days where I just completely forget to bullet journal or I don't know where my bullet journal is and like, I don't know, my car ate it or something. I feel like bullet journaling is a really good way to connect with yourself and to just give yourself that space where maybe you don't have that kind of space in the real world, you know? I can understand that. Okay, so there's our next week. And then we've only got a few more days. We'll be done with our days. Whenever I fill up my days, I always feel like, there's just a lot of possibilities and opportunities. And you never know what your month is going to fill up with. And a lot of the time, I like to look back at my old bullet journals and I'll see, oh, this is what I was doing on this day 3 years ago or something. And it gives really, really good perspective that, this is where I've been, this is where I can go, this is how I'm doing. And it's just nice to give perspective. Okay. And there we have through the 28th. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pink highlighter that I have. And I just like to go over so it looks nice. See? So now they're just a little bit more defined. So I'll do that for the others. Waiting until you've finished writing all of the days helps all of the ink dry as well. Because if you do it right after you do that page, I've noticed that sometimes the ink will spread with the highlighter. That also depends on what highlighter and what pen you're using as well, though. There's those 2 weeks. I feel like it grabs my attention more too, so I'm more likely to remember things. So there's that. And then I'll be doing my goals later just because I like to really sit and think about what I want for my goals. So I'll just do a few basic ones for now. One of my goals is to find a job. I would love to write another book in the children's series that I'm writing. I currently have, I believe, like 9 written so far, and I want to release them as a 12-box series. And you can get them as individuals, of course, but I think it'd be really, really fun to have it just released as like a box set, you know? And they're not very long, so a whole box set would probably only take like that much space of 12 of them. So I want to write another one of those so I can get to my goal. Also want to work on illustrating it. So I'll put that down. Read 2 books. Okay. So those are my goals for now. I really enjoy my habit tracker. I really do. We'll also do that in blue just because I feel like doing it in blue. So for the habit tracker, it looks like this. And what I do is I just put, I'll check it off through here and I'll show you again on my other one. This is what it looks like blank for the habit tracker. And this is what it looked like when I fill it in. Obviously, I had a few days in there where I didn't bullet journal, but that's what it looks like. For my habits, I like to put things like awake by 8 a.m. I know that's kind of late for some people, but for me, that's early. Meditate. I try to do that daily if I can. And obviously make my bed. If I exercise. If I do like my face routine. How often I read. If I write that day. Which, I mean, I'm trying to be a writer professionally, so I should be writing every day. If I do Duolingo, I've been learning Italian on there for about a decade now. So my Italian is not great, but I could probably get around pretty well if I had to. So also I put in talk with a friend because sometimes I'll feel just like people don't talk to me. I can look at that and be like, no, you've talked to someone like 3 times this week, or you've, hung out with this person, blah, blah, blah. That's also in the hangout portion of happenings, but so that just helps as a reminder to keep me out of those like sad thoughts. And then a half hour outside because I am the worst at going outside. If I could stay indoors for days, I would. But so that's why it's on there, is because I need to go outside more. And then of course you have things like laundry and tidying and stuff like that. So just things that you do daily. Another thing I struggle with is drinking enough water. With POTS, you really, really have to stay hydrated. And for the EDS, you also have to really stay hydrated. So, and that is something I for sure struggle with. And then I also put if I created something that day, and that can be anything from content for YouTube, or if I crocheted something, or if I baked something that I hadn't baked before, if I create something. So create something that wasn't there before. And if I talk with my mom, like how often I do that, and make sure I call her enough. If I spend any money that day. I like to be asleep by 12 a.m. So if I'm asleep by 12 a.m. and awake by 8 a.m., that's 8 full hours. That's really all I need, I think. I like to put if I helped someone, and then also I'll be putting if I post to YouTube or TikTok, just because I am trying to stay on top of it. Okay, perfect. So there is my habit tracker for February. And then happenings is super simple. I like to just get colors for each one. So we'll do like orange, blue, and pink. And let's do this too. And then for at happenings, I'll put like what I'm reading. So I'll just put that space. Watching. And I'll just stagger them. And then that gives me like enough space. I'll be hanging out with. And next one is playing like video games, board games, things like that. Who I'm listening to, like what music I'm listening to. Which for January, I've been listening to a lot of Blusher. So if you haven't checked out Blusher, highly recommend. I saw them live last year when they came to Denver with Daddy Fair. Oh my gosh, they were amazing. So if you haven't checked out Blusher, do it. They're an Australian band and they are just so they strike all of the Y2K girly like they make my 6-year-old heart so happy. They're exactly what I wanted to have existed in 2000, but they exist now, so I get to enjoy them as an adult, which makes it even better. So if you haven't checked out Blusher, go check them out. I love them. And also, Blusher, if you're listening, please come back to Denver. We love you and miss you. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And then what I put in is any events. So like last month was our 7-year anniversary, and then the release of Onyx Storm, which my library had a copy of, and I somehow got one because they have a lucky day one, and I'll make a whole video about that later. But oh my gosh. So events, and then YouTube, so I can see what YouTube channels I'm enjoying. Because sometimes, I'll look back and be like, oh, I completely forgot about that YouTuber. So here is my happenings page. And then for sleep log, I'm going to have to make that. So that's going to take a minute. Okay, so I have just finished the sleep log. It's not pretty, but it'll work. I don't think I can do this for any other month except for February because it literally goes to 28. So I can't do it for any other month. And then also for my time, um, it only goes from 11 p.m. to 6 p.m., so it's not a full 24 hours. So if I go to bed before 11 p.m., um, I mean, I guess I could redo the numbers because I'm not typically taking a nap, but I do like to track when I take naps as well because that's part of having POTS and EDS is that you have to take naps a lot. Um, so I'm going to work with it for what I have for this month. I was trying to save space on it by having it not be a 2-page spread, but having it be on 1 page just doesn't really work for me. So again, having it be how it works for you. So that's going to be how it is for this month because I'm not erasing all of that. I'm redoing it. But um, we'll go ahead and move on. We'll go ahead and move on to the seizure. And pass out log. See. So there's that. And so what I do for my seizure and pass out log in particular is okay, so I do the date, the time, the type, if it was a pass out or a seizure, or both, length of time, so if it was like a couple minutes, if it was 30 seconds, if I was able to speak, and did I fall? And then any notes on it as well. So, like if I stood up too quick, or the cause of it, or any symptoms, or anything like that. So, there's that. So, as you can see, And then my weekly goals, I will fill those out as the weeks go. So those are just a bit more in depth of my monthly goals so that I'm able to break it down because I find if I'm able to break it down bit by bit, it's a lot more achievable. And that's it. And so then what we'll be doing for this week, for the first week of February, is just putting in the weather, which I like to have a gray pen, a yellow pen, and then if it snows well, if it snows, I use gray, but then if it rains, I'll use blue. Okay, so we are done with our weather for the week. And they didn't have Sunday on the forecast, but I'll be putting that in later, closer to these days, so that I have a more accurate forecast. So that's that forecast for here. So that is February set up. So thank you so much for coming along, and thank you for everything. And I forgot to say thank you for your support and watching until the end if you stayed. And I would love to see any of your bullet journals that you have. And thank you so much for watching and spending time here. And I'll be posting again on Monday for Mending Monday. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. It would make my whole week. And of course, like and comment and everything else. But thank you all again.